Francisco Lindor said one of the things he misses the most about Cleveland is winning in Cleveland. Well, if the Guardians keep this up, Francisco Lindor is going to go at least 2 more years without remembering what it feels like to win in Cleveland. That's right. The Guardians are on the verge of another sweep after winning another series against the Mets. Let's get into it on today's Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I got my hand sweeper out again. I'm ready to go. Hand
Supercharge that broom.
Getting it going. Got it right here, ready to go. We're gonna sweep tomorrow. I mean, at this rate, with how things gone for Lindor and the Mets, he's like, "What's winning?" I want to thank everyone for joining us on today's show. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. All the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home the big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Available to U.S. customers. This wasn't what we planned, but quick question. I thought it was interesting. I love to do this. I'd love to throw this off. I was reading some stuff today, and people talked about like his time here and this or that, and that he was the face of the franchise. Did he ever feel like the face of the franchise to you? I guess for me, it's like between the starting pitching and how good Kluber was, and how good Jose was the best hitter when he was here. Like I know he was the big name, but for me personally, he was never the face of the franchise. Like he was one of the central people, but he wasn't. Kluber won multiple Cy Youngs. Like that was amazing. The pitching was so good when he was here, and Jose quickly they were 1A and 1B, if we were being honest, when he's here. But like, did he feel like the face of the franchise to you in his 5 years?
I mean, he was the most media-friendly ambassador while also playing well. So I guess it depends on your opinion of what that face is supposed to do. Like, yeah, Corey Kluber put the pitching staff on his back and things came together during that run behind him.
Comment below. Let's make that the comment question today. Did you feel like he was the face? Like, I mean, I felt like this was an outside media statement. Like to someone who covers the Mets or someone who does not cover Cleveland, yeah, he's the face of the franchise. And I wish Frankie Lindor was playing better, honestly, because it'd be good for baseball. I wish he was playing how he played in Cleveland, because he was a smiley, happy, energetic, great type of guy who baseball needs. I wish for the sake of baseball, he was a 100% success story with the Mets instead of being an up and down guy whose contract might end up being a cautionary tale. I wish he was the Cleveland Frankie there more consistently. But even this last year here was up and down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there were some things going on, I think, outside of baseball for him. And then 2020, let's just be honest, you throw all that away, right? The good and the bad, we throw it all away from 2020.
That season
nobody wants
doesn't
to remember.
exist.
Yeah, that year just shouldn't exist in history, if we could all be honest. Does your best player have to be the face of the franchise? Because look at the timing. Like, yeah, Kluber won the Cy Young in 2014. This team wasn't good in 2021. They didn't make the playoffs, but they were okay. They fell apart, or they got hot late. They were bad early. I can't remember what the sequence was. I think it was bad early, good late, because that's how Francona teams were.
Yeah,
he won a Cy Young in a year they didn't make the playoffs, and then he was great in 2016, obviously. But we know Kluber wasn't outwardly vocal with media.
You mean he was the most expressive player during his time here?
They started winning when Lindor came up, right? Like he came up in 2015. They had a good run at the end of 2015, and then 2016 they went to the World Series, and he came up with a lot more fanfare and a lot more hype because of his prospect status. And Jose Ramirez was not a top prospect for a lot of people. People like you and I and John Sickles and others, we really liked him. Obviously, we didn't predict, he was going to become an MVP candidate. But
I can't take credit. I mean, like he was a back end of the top 10 guy for me. I never elevated him as much as others. There are other people out there.
I thought he was going to be I thought he was going to be a starter at second base, but I didn't think it'd be, like this. But, in 2016, he was on his last option. He was out of options. They were playing him in left field, and he was just looking for a role on the team, and he, broke out. Thank goodness. So I don't know. Does your best player have to be the face of the franchise? Because if that's true, then it probably wasn't Lindor that year. I mean, he was a great player that year. It was definitely Kluber, without a doubt, or Kipnis for that sake too. So I don't know. That's a good question, and I'd be curious to see what people's answers are. I think he was the face of the franchise because he was bilingual. and had a very outgoing personality. And I continue to say this about Jose Ramirez, and by no fault of his own. I know I see ugly comments in this all the time, and I can't stand it.
So many ugly comments.
It's because he doesn't do interviews in English. Like, if Jose Ramirez did interviews in English, I'm not saying he should. If he's not comfortable doing it, I don't blame him at all. I know he can speak English in the clubhouse, but it's different when you're doing it on camera. But I think that's the one thing where he probably doesn't get his proper due. And that's probably why Lindor became the face of the franchise, because he did speak English. He was because Jose is definitely outgoing. There's no question about that. We know he's very outgoing, but he goes about it in a different way. So, but
I just never saw it as something when he was coming up. I remember, I distinctly remember like when they'd have English courses on the board, there'd be like the group time and Jose's time, because it was just he didn't see he could do it well enough to communicate with his teammates, and that's all he cared about. Yes. Everything else was baseball to him. So it's like he wasn't going to ever, do the Bo Naylor degree of like bilingual. And that's not like, again, that's not to dig on him. It's just like I can do enough to communicate with my teammates, to have fun with my teammates, to make friends with my teammates. I don't need to be plus proficient. I'm going to spend more time on baseball.
Yeah, and let's also remember too. I mean, this isn't the debate we were planning on having, but
I like to Cleveland
Cleveland didn't really start their whole English high school diploma program until after Jose had already broken out. I think that was like Anna Bolton's like project that Cleveland took on, and it's been great for other guys so they can learn English. But that program wasn't like fully fledged back in 2016 when he was getting up and breaking out, and he also didn't finish high school. And Lindor went to schools in Puerto Rico and the U.S., so he had a little more a solid background growing up than Jose Ramirez, we'll say, because Jose is truly a special story. But
yes,
yeah, I mean, Jose is definitely the face of the franchise now that Lindor is gone, but he's always been the better player. If you look at by the numbers, he's always been the better player. Lindor has the benefit of playing shortstop, which does help him defensively, which, Jose playing short these days would obviously not go great. But let's talk about this win. Well, we'll see. But here's the comments. How about the Guardians winning on a night where their bullpen didn't exactly do their best? Nick Sandlin made it interesting. That's 2 days in a row for Nick Sandlin where he came in. He
likes to do it in hard mode. He likes to do it in hard mode. That's all.
Both these series, he turns up to Hall of Fame mode. He decides to walk the first batter he faces, and then he's like, "Now I'll throw strikes." And he got out of it. And then, Sam was good for the first 2 pick batters, I think. And then you have a hard double and a home run that just kept carrying from Marte.
A lot of carry today.
Yeah, a lot of carry. Like you said, it was like a college game. And then Barlow, who's been good for like, I don't know, like the first 3 games of the year were awful for him. And then he's been great ever since. And then
every year, Kurt Smith calls him the long-haired hippie pitcher. It was pitching better.
Yeah, of course he's going to say not good now. But how about this? They won a game where they're both like we've been accustomed to, like, Curry didn't get out of the 5th inning, right? We'll talk about Curry later in the show.
Yeah,
Curry didn't get out of the 5th inning, so you're accustomed to the bullpen having to come in and carry a huge load and shut down the offense so this team can win. And today on Tuesday, it was the offense that picked up the bullpen, and this is what we talked about in the Twins series. They have been finding different ways to win games. Like, they blew the Twins out. They had to win a game where they had to beat their closer twice. They defensively goofed up and still won that game. And now they have a game where the bullpen didn't do its best. It's been the best bullpen in baseball all year, and they found a way to win. Like, this is a 180 role reversal from a year ago where it felt like this team just found ways to lose games. This year they are finding ways to win. And I continue to be encouraged by the different ways they're finding ways to win games. It's not just one formula every night.
No, I agree. And every time that the Mets battled back, Cleveland seemed to push the lead back out. Whereas it felt like a year ago, it would just kind of keep mounting. So it was another impressive performance. We talked about yesterday's show. It's like, hey, the pitching situation will work its way out. Well, Carrasco got hurt.
For now,
that's unfortunate. We'll see how long. If it's a start, it's going to be at least 2 starts, right? Just got to be a 10-day DL. I don't 15, know. 15. Yeah.
So yeah, it will be 2. It will be at least 2.
So he's going to be out for a bit, and Curry gets his second start of the year and started out looking good, and then, like I said, we'll talk about him more later. But they kept answering, kept pushing ahead. So questionable decisions in the ninth made me get like texting angry, but they pulled out the win. They kept it together and they got another win. Now this Mets team, I thought was interesting listening to their broadcast. They're 9-22 in non-closeout games and like 12-4 in the last game of the series. So tomorrow, for a reason,
don't love that.
The Mets are very strong in the final one. So I'll throw that stat out. And then we got to come back and talk about Curry, talk about tugboat news. Tugboats on the move. So all of that today.
Yep, we'll talk about Jonathan Rodriguez's first game. We'll talk about David Fry, Cal Manzardo, how their spot in the lineup swung the game in this one. So a lot more fun stuff to talk about.
Prize Picks. So I am over on Prize Picks right now. And two things stood out for me when I was looking at one. Riley Green is at a 5.5 hitter fantasy score. This is basically all the good things you do and add them up. It might seem low. Riley Green's not been hitting super well of late, and he struggles against lefties. He's facing Cole Raggins tomorrow. That's a tough matchup. Yeah, so I kind of like less on that one. Jose is at an 8. It's kind of high. This is going to maybe give him trouble. Facing a lefty tomorrow as well. He has definitely been better against righties. Now he's definitely been a lot better at home instead of on the road.
Is David Fry in there? Because Jose Quintana goes on.
Yeah, he is not with Jose Quintana. So Jose is the only Guardian I saw. So I kind of like the under, but I'm like, I avoid the Jose one. Let's put it that way. I think Jose is one you avoid. A 6.5 for Pete Alonso tomorrow is interesting against McKenzie. I kind of feel like he could get a hold of one. So I think my two best are actually Alonso more and Green less. But check it out for yourself. Head over to Prize Picks today. And of course, I just clicked on the X to close out. Exactly. If you go to Prize Picks, use the app or the website, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, all lowercase, all one word. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, all lowercase, all one word for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Hopefully it is easy for you to get on your SiriusXM app on your lunch break somewhere on Wednesday for the finale of this Mets and Guardians series, and search Guardians on the app to listen to Tom Hamilton and Jim Rosenhaus. I think it'll make the workday go nice and fast for me, I will say, while we're watching that or listening to that. Obviously, Jose had a big 2-run home run, which I just have to laugh because it's a 3-2 count. And again, we know how deeper the count goes, the more dangerous Jose Ramirez gets. It's incredibly comical at this point. The ball that he hit a home run on was not a strike. Adrian Hauser definitely looked like he did not want to throw him a strike at all. Like he was trying to make Jose get himself out. Jose didn't. He swung at ball 4, and it ended up being a home run. And this is why we're saying Jose is just incredible, because you can't teach that. You can't recreate that. He is this is why I fear this is why the Guardians love unicorns, because Jose is a unicorn and you're forever chasing guys like that. But is he a generational player in terms of just the crazy things he's able to do? Like the home runs on 10 pitch at bats and hitting balls for home runs. Like
generational gets used too much. So like I say no, just because like a generational is like, that means like, once every 25 years, I think technically. So it's like, no, is he a generational player for this franchise? Yes, because they never get to keep anyone. In that regard, 100%. And he
makes him a generational person.
And he does do crazy things, and he's a fantastic talent, and it's great having him here. And
he's a complete ball player. He just is. Like they got JD Martinez hung up the other day on that double play or whatever it was.
And you look at guys like him and Altuve, and it's like, I don't know if you're chasing unicorns. And Corbin Carroll, like for everyone who complains about Bazana being too short and you can't have an outfit of that size, go look at Corbin Carroll. Like Slade Caldwell Slade Caldwell, I believe, can fit in my pocket, and he'll go in the first 20 picks this year. Size isn't everything with baseball. So I don't think it's chasing unicorns. It's just knowing that like good swing mechanics, good swing approach, good eye leads to elite hitting. I mean, it's not a hard combination. Yeah, and work ethic.
Work ethic and just overall drive, which, point. Not that Condon doesn't, but point for Bazana.
Yeah, I mean they both do. Both of those guys are plus in that area.
Yeah, no question there. But I know the home run from Jose was big, but I thought we'll talk about Manzardo, and he had another double, and it looks like he is starting to find his way a little bit, which we're not surprised by. We knew he would. But I loved that spot in the lineup kind of swung this entire game, right? Like the Mets, I'll let you make the point, but the Mets brought in a lefty there. They forced Manzardo out. And David Fry is just sitting there on the bench, and I'm like, did I text you? I said, why on earth would they go to a lefty when they know that this is a spot in the order that David Fry could come in, and he comes in. Now, I will say, by StatCast, the home run that David Fry hit is very improbable, just like the one he hit off of Andrew Chafin. So that's that he did it twice, but it counts. If it's even though it's improbable, it happened. It was very low odds, but sometimes low odds cash in. But
I mean,
even if it wasn't a home run, it's off the wall. It's a double at the very least, and it's like, I don't understand why any manager. Like, if I was a Mets fan, I would be PO'd right now because, like, your job is to think a couple of batters ahead and know the situation. So you get to that spot in the lineup and you say, okay, we'll bring a lefty in and we'll face Manzardo. Well, no, you won't, because David Fry is there and you have to guess what the other manager is going to do. And you should have guessed the way the vote has played Manzardo has been strictly platooning. He's not, I shouldn't say strictly. He has faced one lefty. It was his first career hit. But you should know that that's the likely move. Make him, like, I guess it's not a good option either way. Either have a righty to face Manzardo, and he's hitting the ball well, at least the last 2 days, or you go to Fry. But Fry has proven to be more deadly against lefties than what Manzardo's short sample size says in the majors so far. Like, again, if I was a Mets fan, I'd be PO'd because that was a very poor decision.
No, it's like, I literally, it felt like a college baseball game today. Quite a few of these balls were just flying out of there. But at the same time, it's like they took care of business. And when you texted me that, I'm like, wow, it's interesting that they're like, okay, let's not face Manzardo. Because yes, I know Rodriguez is up next as a righty, and that means they could, potentially have a lefty face 2 guys because he has to face 3 when you're bringing him in, or you can get him out of the inning. But Rodriguez is not a guy you're going to switch things about right now. It's the first game. Manzardo looked terrible for his first week. So whatever. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what Rodriguez did today, unless he did something positive. And then it's just a good story. So Rodriguez is fine. We're not going to fixate on that. But it's like you don't. So if you're going out and getting the lefty, it's kind of to say, well, there's with the righty hitting behind him, this is specifically about Manzardo. So that's a positive sign. The team was like, hey, we're afraid of him. But as you pointed out, and I was like, that's great. I didn't even, because I'm so used to old school and how it was a year ago where would have been too early to pinch hit. Like, we would not have seen that happen. We can't burn our third catcher already. And to just go through and can we say Stephen Vogt, manager of the year already? Like, he's got, like, I mean,
manager of April and May.
I didn't want to tweet it, but it's like, at the same time, it's because it's making the right call in the right moment. It's what I gave Rocco Baldelli credit for when Tim Herron came up. It's like, okay, fine, we're going to flip things on you and see what happens. And he pulled the right strings, and David Fry continues to be dangerous. And, he's no slouch against righties either this year. There's a chance he gets overexposed, but, like, let's enjoy the ride. Who knows? Maybe, I was dead wrong about Josh Naylor being able to hit lefties. So maybe I can be dead wrong about Fry. But even if you're not, you have such a left-handed hitting weapon. Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's easy to pinch hit for Manzardo because he's the DH. So even all the better. And yeah, it was just great. Everything about that was great. It was well played. And again, Tito was a Hall of Famer. He's a fantastic manager, but I love having this guy who is not afraid to go and pinch hit early with your third catcher. And is also like, Nick Sandlin is he's my high leverage arm. He can strike guys out. I like going to Sandlin, and it doesn't matter the inning. It doesn't matter the inning. It doesn't matter the situation. It's like he just goes for his high leverage guy no matter where it is. Not like, no, this is a 7th inning guy. This is an 8th inning guy. It's not like very distinct. So I'm just loving the vote experience.
Is Nick Sandlin Stephen Vogt's Brian Shaw?
Yeah. I mean, right now he is. I mean, he makes me nervous every dang time because he wants to turn everything into Dark Souls and just make it as hard as possible. But, like, he is with the walks, and the walks have always been that guy's bugaboo dating back to college. But the Guardians love to draft them some relievers in round 2, like him, the soon-to-be great Andrew Walters. But Sandlin is just
soon to be,
or Ryan Johnson of Dallas Baptist. Pick your reliever. But they he just keeps coming through, and guys can't pick up his stuff, and that's another guy I missed on. Like, I know people are like, you give yourself too much credit. Well, I thought Sandlin was kind of cooked after 2020 with some of the information reports I was getting. I was dead wrong.
He was hurt.
Yeah, I didn't have enough information.
He's gone through it.
And here we know that he'll probably turn into a pumpkin in the second half, looking at data, but I'm hoping it's not the case. And I'm thinking, like, hopefully this is just the new weapon. And I am enjoying Nick Sandlin immensely, in spite of him raising my blood pressure every time he comes in.
Yeah, the walks the last 2 games have been a little tight, but he always finds a way out of it. That's, like I said, that splitter has been a great weapon for him, and he can still get ground balls. That's why he is like the safety blanket. When you get a starter pulled in the 5th inning or the 6th inning, you're not afraid to bring him in with traffic, even though he walks guys, but because he can get that ground ball. And now he's striking some guys out with that splitter, and he's really helped himself with platoon splits with lefties. And yeah, the control probably will come and go, and we'll tear a hair out over that at times, but I think in the end it'll be okay as long as he stays healthy. It'll be okay if you stick with us, because we want to talk more about
David Fry. Curry.
Got to talk Curry. Got to talk Tugboat and some other good stuff too. So
not the train is choo choo. Was it like a?
Yes.
I don't know.
Stay aboard the boat. Don't jump ship from this episode just yet. Well, we know that Stephen Vogt has been pushing all the right buttons and finding the right parts, just like eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships, also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak David Fry performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. If you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back, because at eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not the cash. On Ramon Laureano and Miles Straw. With all the parts you need, the prices you want, it is easy to make your car the MVP, the Jose Ramirez, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Guardians game is available to you if you have anywhere, but if you have a SiriusXM app, it is very easy to make it available if you just search Guardians on the app for Wednesday's matinee, after you're done listening to us, of course. Can I also point out, people online love to, I know online is the worst way to bring these subjects up and all that, and online is not a good way to look at real life, but I know a lot of people want to play David Fry every day, and I'm not necessarily against that. But with the way the roster is shaped right now, I think he's in the perfect role. You're still going to play Will Brennan against righties, right? Manzardo's in there. You got to give him at bats every day because you think he's part of the future. Jonathan Rodriguez is up, so he should play against lefties because that's typically what he does well, and you want to get a look at him and see what he can be. And then David Fry, like there are games where it's great to put him in. And I love when he hits behind Josh Naylor because teams will try to bring in lefties. And even though Josh is hitting lefties better this year, he's having a kind of a rough month of May. That's okay. He's great protection back there because if you bring a lefty in, guess what? He's also got to face David Fry, the 3-batter minimum rule. Love it. But I also like what you have available on the bench in a situation like this, because there are days where you're going to want Manzardo to face lefties, but not every day and not every situation. Like, that was the right situation to have somebody come off the bench like David Fry and pinch hit. It is great to be able to have that tool in your back pocket to pull out. So everyone's like, oh, just play him every day. Well, if he's starting in left field today ahead of Manzardo, I guess maybe you bring Rodriguez off the bench and try that, but he's not as tested and as proven as Fry. Who are you bringing in that spot? You're probably just letting Manzardo go, and maybe it works out, and maybe if it doesn't, you're still getting a gauge of what Manzardo can and can't do, but you won the game, and because of that move. And I like the idea of having Fry on the bench in some situations to be able to pull that card, out and play that card every once in a while. Like, if you play 6 games in a week and he starts 4, that's great. Let him come to the bench and use him as a I don't play a lot of card games or a lot of strategy games, I guess, but pull out that card from time to time when you can and use them in a leverage situation. It's the same thing we argue with Miles Straw, right? Don't start Miles Straw. Bring him in to pinch run when somebody else gets on base, so you don't have to worry about his low on base percentage, and use him as a defensive replacement. Like, Fry can do both things. He is versatile for a reason. Like, I think he is in the perfect role right now. You can still get a guy like that 350 to 400 plate appearances and be extremely, extremely valuable.
I'm gonna disagree, mainly because I don't know what the answer is right now with Naylor, but like I feel like I want to have let's see what he can do. Give him some chances. Kind of like, we have to figure out if he is Josh Naylor or if he's Jordan Luplow. Like, which way is he going to hit? Can he do more? Because then with him, I mean, he's a pass. He's
not
an average catcher.
I'm telling you,
he's average to above average. So when I look at that, it's like if he can actually hit both sides of the baseball, if he can hit righties, we know he kills lefties. You're talking about a top 5 catcher in baseball. Like, catching is really hard and really rare. And I agree with you.
He's Mitch Garver without the injuries.
Yeah. And with the ability to catch. Like, Garver never was even an average catcher, I don't believe. I think he was always like a 40. And Fry's like a 50, maybe a 55. So, like, if he can actually hit righties, even to a passable degree, like I said, that puts him in the top 5 to 7 catchers in all of baseball. And that is something hard to find and hard to do. And to go back a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, it's like you want to have 2 good catchers. You want to have Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud. It's good to have 2 good catchers. You can balance that. You can make that work, and you can be successful while letting those guys play almost every day. So I'm not saying
I thought you could have too many catchers. I thought you could.
I know I know we heard that, but it's just it'll work. Trust me. So you can have both of them. You can find playing time, and let's just see what we got. Because again, if Bo's ceiling is higher, but if Fry can hit righties, Fry might be the better catcher for the now. Hot take.
Yeah, I mean the way Bo is going right now, we said we weren't going to really talk about it, but his framing, he is number 1.
He's fantastic at framing.
Yeah, Sports Info Solutions talked about how he is the top framer in baseball, which is great. I just didn't expect on May 22nd we'd be talking about, well, Bo Naylor's offense is not coming around, but man, his defense got better. Like, that was not a sentence I expected to say.
And no matter what happens with him, it's in some degrees it's less about Fry and less about Naylor and just how good Fry's been. Like, he is a better defender than I thought. Watching him every day, he's a better defender than I thought. He is a better hitter than I expected. When I was advocating for him a year ago at this time, it's like he'll kill lefties and then you just glue him to the bench for everything else. But like, we're seeing that there are other skills there. JC Mejia, thank you so much. Listen, like, again, they had to, and like, that could have gone so bad. Like, let's take a moment and be so thankful, because not only, like, there was a roster spot and they essentially had to just decide between Mejia and Henches, right? And they kept Henches, and I was wrong on Henches. I didn't want to keep either of them.
I was too.
And I might have liked Mejia more than Henches at the time. I can't remember, but I could see myself liking Mejia a bit more. But they could have chosen to let Henches go and then not done a trade for Mejia and not have Fry or Henches. So again, every time we went back in the front office, there's little moments like that that's just a different chain of events. But like I said, Fry, it's mostly for me. Naylor started super slow a year ago, and I'm still going to hold out faith that's what this is, that he's going to just catch a harder. He is Ahmed Rosario. When it heats up, he heats up. So, and it's been a bit of a slow heat up. So
it's been warm the last 2 days in Cleveland. You don't live here anymore, but it's been warm here.
I'm under thunderstorm warning. So it's when it gets warm in Milwaukee, he'll heat up. He's going to get there. He's going to be fine. I thought he was the 3rd most important hitter on this team. I still believe in him. But like, what Fry has done this year is not revolutionary. Revelatory is what I want. And I think that revelatory nature is why I want to see if there's more. See, because he's that guy who's always performed. Small school guy, later round pick. Those are the guys sometimes you strike gold on.
Defies the odds. Yeah. Right. My only thing is, I don't disagree with you on any of your points. Like, it's a good way to go. My only thing is, like, if you make him a catcher way more often, you do lose some of his value and versatility that he can play first if you need to.
Can we clone him? Can we have two of them?
Clone David. We're going to clone Jose Ramirez. We also want to clone David Fry.
Well, maybe Jose Ramirez is too expensive, so we can just do the David Fry clone, and then that way we got the perfect bench bet and the guy who might be, a top 10 catcher.
Yeah, let's just get 13 Fries and 13 Jose's.
We got to get
shakes, 55 Fries. Yeah, let's do
5 Jose's, 5 Nailers, 5 Fries. Who's the next?
Yeah, let's Stephen Kwan's.
How do we forget that? It's because he's been out of mind. But yeah, Stephen Kwan as well. Sorry.
We're running out of time. We didn't really get much into Curry. I thought Curry pitched fine. Obviously, Carrasco's on the IL with that neck issue. I hope it's not too bad. It sounded like there's potential there for it to be maybe a bigger issue.
Stiffness is what I'm hoping for. I know that's not the case, but I'm hoping for that. And Curry, you and I both agree, is probably a 5 and fly. Like you just want to get 2 times through the order, and then he's done. Like that's his best outcome.
And with this bullpen, that's perfectly fine. Except today, the bullpen wasn't good. But hey, the offense, we talked about the offense was good. Tugboat up to the captains. Love that.
Good.
It's way past time for him to be up there. He's going to start Saturday. I'm hoping to be there in person, weather depending. It looks kind of iffy right now, but if the weather's good, I will be.
We'll see like Messick and Denholm and Peterson.
Messick and Tugboat go back-to-back days this week.
I know, but I'm just saying in terms of the guys moving up. Like I was trying to pick because I saw Josh Wolf got cut, tip of the cap. Team Israel in the World Baseball Classic, part of the Lindor trade. But when I was looking at that, it's like Austin Peterson wins Pitcher of the Week, Denholm wins Pitcher of the Week.
Well,
Messick, I know it's not a big award, but at the same time, like these guys are all pretty old for the level. I mean, Messick just got lapped by a high school kid taken in the same draft as him. So, like, hopefully we'll see more guys moving up and we won't worry about the backfill of it.
Yeah. Kind of say representation matters because you want to know what? Not often you get to go to a ball game and see a player that looks like you dominating. So representation matters, okay? I'm excited for that.
No, I'm glad Tugboat's up 100%. I'm saying this. I hope this is the beginning of the floodgate opening. I mean, Messick's he's lost some weight, but he's a bigger dude. That was a knock on him.
Yeah.
So let's see more of the big boys moving on up through the system.
Let's do it. Yeah. Shortness doesn't matter. Wideness doesn't matter. Let's start the movement.
So they should sign Dan Vogelbach.
Yeah. For tomorrow's show, Jeff, the Guardians have won 32 games. If they go 500 the rest of the way, they will win 88. So are the Guardians going to win 88 games? Are they going to win more? Are they going to win less? Let's get into that on tomorrow's show and comment below. Let us know what you think.
Well, thank you all for joining us. As always, we're having a lot of fun. As you can tell, rate and review, download daily. It helps. It was great hearing from my buddy, Andrew Clayman. Give him another shout out. And thank you to John and David for their never ending positivity and go Guardians, go.